you're gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Fast people, how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give you something you could talk about.
Why do I have that on a loop? Okay. Woo. All right. I'm seeing stars. It's 4:50. Welcome, welcome. Come in, come in. Okay. So I've been following this Harvey Weinstein case all day. I have been looking at live tweets from it. Today was day one. Sorry, I'm just getting my things together. I've like been sitting at this desk for hours. There will be a premiere on my other channel, BJ Investigates, immediately following this live stream. I do have the redirect turned on, but I linked it also in the comments. So the reason I didn't go live and cover this is because, like, I mean, right now, like just sitting here, it says it's only 74 people in this chat, for example. So I didn't want to be live all day on something that y'all don't really care about, because I care about it. I'm following it. If y'all do want me to do like live reporting, like all day, like from, morning to afternoon, please let it be known, because I'm going to be covering it anyway in my own mind. I'm going to be reading it and stuff anyway. So no promises, because I don't work for you, but I am just kind of polling the audience to see if that's something that y'all would be interested in. Because I really am planning actually on doing the P. Diddy trial. And this one is probably going to overlap with that one, because the Diddy trial starts May 12th. And the Weinstein trial is obviously ongoing. Today was the first day. So I was kind of trying to save up my energy for that trial. But I guess if it overlaps, like, I don't know, maybe there's a possibility I could kind of cover both of them, because we're not actually watching the trials. We're reading tweets, and sometimes there's downtime. Maybe we could bounce back and forth. I'm not saying I'm definitely offering that as a possibility. I just don't know exactly how to cover the Weinstein case. Like, if y'all care about it, I'll put more stuff out about it. If y'all don't, which is evidenced by the fact there's only 123 people in here right now, I'm probably just gonna keep covering it myself, because I don't want to be live all day for stuff y'all don't care about. So if you do, then do some engagement, do some sharing, like make it be known in the numbers. So then I will. Okay. Oh wow, that's so cute. Thank you, Zoza. Wow, recent discovery for me. Glued to this channel, now catching a live stream. Yeah. Okay, y'all. So I don't even know how many pages of notes I have here. I do want to share with you the sources where I got my information for two reasons. One, to give credit where it's due, but two, I want y'all to know I was not in the courtroom personally. I have been following like live tweets and different live website like updates. So I just want to show y'all that real quick, what I've been following. Thankfully, Inner City Press was on the scene. He is the one who goes into the Diddy courtroom. So he was there. I did leave his Twitter and also a link to his Twitter and also a link to his Patreon if y'all want to go and follow there. He also has a Substack and all kinds of other stuff. So I did link to the ways that you can find him below. And I do encourage y'all to go support his channel. Okay. Or his, platforms. So that's one of my sources. Another was this one right here. This is the BBC live reporting by Jenna Moon and Madeline Halpert. Okay, so this is what I'm basing my information on, y'all. I just want to get that out there early. This is what I'm basing my information on. Everything in this video is my opinion based on this, these sources. I also did follow along on the Harvey Weinstein trial live on the independent.com. I also did follow along on the live stream from Associated Press, the AP. They did have, let me show y'all where it is. It was this one earlier I was watching. And then Harvey Weinstein's lawyers did a press conference on Did they take it down? Oh, yeah, right here. This one 5 hours ago. So it was 2.5 hours long. So I've really been watching this for a long time. Also, there was another Twitter user, Pop Culture Crime TV or something like that. She was there for the first part of the day. I did read her tweets. There was a significant amount of overlap between hers and the other sources, but she did have some unique stuff, but then she left for the second half of the day. So, okay, so I'm going to start from the morning and just go in chronological order. I do have another investigation premiering at basically an hour and 5 minutes. So that's how long I have given myself to give y'all the notes. So we got to get started. Okay. So in the morning, there was a press conference. So it was about, I would say maybe about 10 a.m., somewhere around that time. The press conference was live. Weinstein's attorney was there, Imran Ansari. He did outline what he expected at the opening statements to be. Today was opening statements. He said that Weinstein is currently granted permission to stay in the hospital instead of Rikers Island prison or jail. And he had temporarily been given permission to stay in the hospital. Today, I think they were trying to figure out whether he was going to be allowed to stay permanently or not. What else? So they talked about Harvey's physical state. His physical state is not good. He has a lot of health problems and illnesses. Okay, and then at this press conference, there was this other guy there named Craig Rothfeld. This man was is apparently Harvey Weinstein's prison consultant. What? Who did we hear about? Oh, Luigi Mangione had a prison consultant recently. Was it him? So did he? Who was it that had a prison consultant? Anyway, so the prison consultant was there at the press conference. Just want to let y'all know. Hospital food better than jail food. Somebody said, I don't know if it is or isn't. Then, okay, so then one of the reporters asked Harvey Weinstein's attorney, if you're going to be defending Harvey, doesn't that necessarily mean attacking the credibility of some of the claims of some of these people? And the lawyer said, yeah, we're going to be attacking the credibility of the claims. Yes, we are. So we can expect to see that. Somebody asked, how is Harvey Weinstein's state of mind? And the lawyer said he's committed to his defense and he is mostly just motivated by trying to clear his name. Looking at somebody else's comments. Okay. And then the attorney did say that he was going to come for a post-court live press conference as well, which would be like right now. So I do have that up. No one appears to be there quite yet, but I am kind of like clicking in and out in case. Let me show that to y'all. So see, it's Reuters, the view from outside the courthouse. So this morning, the lawyer did say, what's his name? Imran Ansari. He said that he was going to speak, or probably the lead attorney. Imran Ansari is not the lead attorney. This other guy, I forget his name right now, but the bald-headed one, the one that's like very like, I'm scared of him. He's like 1920s, like mafia gangster type, like caricature, but like I'm also kind of scared. That guy, that's the lead attorney. Okay, so then I started reading some other reporting. This came from the independent.com website. And they started talking about the jury. So we do have some information about the jury I wanted to tell y'all about. There are 7 women and 5 men on this jury. Last time it was a men predominant jury. There were 7 men and 5 women. So this time it's switched over. There's 7 men, excuse me. This time it's switched over. There's 7 women and 5 men. Okay. So it's a women heavy jury this time. Now the jury includes a physics researcher, a photographer, a dietitian, a therapist, an investment bank software engineer, and a fire safety director. The education levels of the jury vary. Education levels of the jury vary from high school equivalency degree all the way up to multiple master's degrees. Thank you so much, Paris, for the $2.99 super chat. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I'm just going to go over what I took as notes today until or unless this press conference comes up. or happens. I do have it over here on the other screen, though. I'm keeping an eye on it. Don't worry. If you are in here and you like this coverage, put a 222 in the chat or something like that. Okay, so approximately 9 a.m., some news sources started to report that Harvey is going to be allowed to stay in the hospital pending trial. Now, I'm a little bit confused because the lawyer, Imran Ansari, he did say that was a temporary grant from the judge, and actually they're waiting for a permanent decision from a Judge Getz, who's not Judge Farber or Judge Gates. Gates or Getz? Goats, Getz, Gates. I don't know. I wrote down, I think it's Getz. Anyway, so the just to give a shout out, the reporter who was reporting live from the court for the independent.com, her name is Kelly Rissman, and that's where I got some of this information from. She said there were only a handful, quote, just a handful of members of the public waiting to enter the courthouse at about 9 a.m. Right now it's 5 p.m. So I've been following this all day. The stakes are high for the future of the hashtag #MeToo movement, the independent.com said. And we're going to see, and we're going to, quote, test how far we've advanced in our collective understanding. It's interesting because to me, like, a trial really shouldn't stand for a social movement necessarily. Like, even though sometimes if you can look back in retrospect and see that that is the function it served, I personally am a little bit uncomfortable with all of this discussion of, Me Too this, future Me Too that, test the public's understanding and all of this. Like, it shouldn't be testing any of that. It should be testing whether or not Harvey did the crimes he's charged with. So I don't know what all this side Me Too circus is about. And I think that's one of the reasons it got overturned in the first place. So if we could stop doing that, that'd probably be great. So anyway, moving on, Gloria Allred has entered the chat. She was there all day. She had previously represented some of the alleged victims against Harvey Weinstein in some civil trials. She was there. She told the independent.com that she was feeling positive about the retrial. She said, in the herstory of the Me Too movement, you got to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Isn't it supposed to be 1 step forward and 2 steps back? I don't know. Like, me personally, as a woman and as somebody that has always been a girl and a woman and assigned woman, female at birth and all of that, like, have not ever experienced my life as anything other than a woman. I personally am a little bit, like, I don't know, insulted with this freaking herstory crap. Like, oh my God, it's like a giant leap for mankind. No, humankind. Like, y'all need to relax with that shit. Like, pick something else. Okay. It's not 2016. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, leave my channel because I don't work for you. Okay. I'm sick of it. Why does Gloria Allred have to be talking about her story? It just makes it so cheesy. It makes it like cheap. It just makes it like flying to the Blue Origin moon or whatever they did. I mean, no. Okay. So Gloria Allred had represented, and she's like an icon. She's a powerhouse. She's involved in the Diddy progeny over there as well. She's representing Talia Graves, who is suing Diddy and what's his name? Big Joe Sherman. I don't know if that case is still going on or not. There is like a press conference like thing set up outside of the courthouse. So I do think there might be some talking. Okay. So then about 9:40 a.m., the courtroom was being seated. Harvey, like an hour later, Harvey is finally wheeled in a wheelchair. The start of the trial trial, the opening statements today was delayed because one of the jurors was late. And by 10:40, finally all the jurors were present and they were all in there. And like about 10:50 a.m., the jury members entered. And then the first thing that the judge says, first day of trial, first thing judge says, he starts, quote, scolding the jury and like being like, make sure that you get here on time for the rest of the trial, pretty much. So then approximately 30 minutes later, the opening statements begin right around 11 a.m., I guess. So like 10 to 30 minutes later. It's hard to know when stuff happens because different places and different sources are tweeting stuff at different times. So I'm just doing the best I can with the time estimations. So the first person up to do the opening statements was the assistant district attorney. Her name is Shannon Lucey, Lucey. And she starts to talk. Now, over the course of opening statements coming from the ADA, that's the government, the first speaker was the government. And in addition with the opening statements for the defense, which went second, the entire opening statement section lasted about 2 hours. So she stands up. I only have about 2 or 3 pages of stuff on it, though, like handwritten. It's not like, I didn't write everything they said. Obviously, I'm not in there. I don't have the transcript. I'm like reading live tweets and piecing it together. Okay, so I told y'all my sources. That was where I pieced the stuff together from. The assistant ADA, Shannon Lucey, said that Harvey could not take no for an answer, and he was a major Hollywood gatekeeper for up to like 30 years. No, over 30 years. He had control issues. He determined who was in and out, according to the assistant district attorney. The first statement that we get from the prosecutors is this, like, I don't take no for an answer. As far as what was reported, I don't know, was the actual first statement. Then the ADA names the accusers. The accusers, the complainants in this case are 2 familiar names and then 1 new one. I just got kicked out. Okay, here comes the lawyer. Okay, we're live. Oh my God, hold on. He said, trying to be polite. He's scary. I'm scared of him. Okay, we got a press conference. Do a little react. This one right here on the left looks like the
We're accommodating CBS.
It stopped working right when you walked up.
Well, I have that.
It's very powerful.
Yes.
something weird did happen, because as soon as he started walking out, I got kicked off my stream. If you've been following my channel for any amount of time, has that literally ever happened in 4 years, 5 years, however long I've been going live? Never has that happened. And as soon as he walked out, my live stream kicked me off. That's never happened in my life. And then, to my memory, and then CBS's microphone.
Gloria had a box. How come I don't get a box?
He wants a box. Gloria had a box, he said. See what I mean? He's scary.
Are we good?
Can y'all hear him?
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Mr. Weinstein's team, we have begun. Opening statements are behind us. We think we made a pretty compelling argument to the jury that when they hear the evidence from the witness stand, they will be inundated with inconsistencies and reasonable doubt, to the point that they will have no choice but, when they go into that deliberation room, come out and say the people have not proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and to find Mr. Weinstein not guilty of all charges. We expect vigorous cross-examination of all of their witnesses, obviously, especially the complainants. You know, we don't call them victims when you're trying a case and there's someone who's been killed and there's a dead person there, or there's a video of someone's car being stolen. They're victims. Here, we don't believe they're victims at all. And I think the evidence is going to show that they're not victims, that in fact, they were willing participants in a mutually beneficial relationship where Mr. Weinstein would help them with certain things in their lives, and in return, they would spend quality time with him in a romantic way. So we're all looking forward to this trial in front of this very attentive jury and this very thoughtful judge.
Harvey, what makes this trial?
Harvey, excuse me, sir.
Sorry. It's a compliment.
It's a compliment, I know.
What makes this trial?
Well, I mean, this trial is much different in several ways. First of all, they're different complaining witnesses, number one. Number two, the Court of Appeals says you can't have all these other people in there that Mr. Weinstein was in charge with just to make him sound like he's not a nice guy. We now have a very thoughtful judge who enjoys a spectacular reputation for his judicial wisdom. And the world has changed. You know, when we were all here 5 years ago and you heard the word Corona, you thought of a beer. You didn't think of an international pandemic. Nobody knew the name of Rodney King. I'm sorry, nobody knew the name of George Floyd. Nobody knew about the horrors of October the 7th. 5 years ago, Me Too and that movement was the most important thing in the world. And it has been so diminished by tragedies that have taken place over the last 5 years, so that jurors will keep an open mind and look at this through the perspective that it should be, which is common sense. And they'll realize that a lot of the things that the prosecutors are asking them to make sense of just don't make sense whatsoever. And when these women are cross-examined, it'll come out that everything that happens between them and Mr. Weinstein was absolutely consensual. And more than that, it's what they wanted. It's what they wanted as much as anything that Mr. Weinstein wanted, because they needed him to advance their careers, to advance their lives, to get them into the parties, to get them into the film festivals. Mr. Weinstein didn't need another actress. He didn't need another personal assistant. So we're confident that this jury, which is very, very attentive, they've been on the edge of their seat following everything so far, that they will come to the conclusion that Mr. Weinstein should be found not guilty of all charges.
He looked pretty healthy in there compared to what I've seen him in the past. Can you talk about Rikers Inspect and then the hospital, and how long do you hope the hospital is safe?
The difference between Rikers Island and the correctional facility at Bellevue cannot be overstated. It is well documented, all of the physical ailments that Mr. Weinstein has. It's no one on the planet Earth can say he's malingering. He's being treated by all kinds of doctors for many different diseases, from water around your heart, which is pretty bad, to cancer, which is pretty awful. So you can pick which one is more horrible. But thanks to the efforts of a judge in a different courthouse, in a civil courthouse, he had to order Mr. Weinstein to be moved to a hospital. And today,
this is like a separate, it's like a separate, they're Harvey Weinstein just now, like last week, sued the New York Department of State or something, whatever it is, correctional, whatever, whoever, for his Rikers condition. So I think that's the Judge Gates. That's the one that ordered the temporary, got to get him out of Rikers.
In this day and age, that's sad. It's sad that the people at Rikers Island just didn't use their own eyes, as you just indicated, and say, this is a sick guy who, in this state, is presumed innocent. In this state, has not been convicted of anything. Let's get him in a place where he deserves, this 73-year-old guy in a wheelchair, let's put him in a place where he deserves some basic medical treatment in the United States of America, the state of New York, the city of New York. So congratulations to the judge in the civil courthouse for doing the right thing. Tomorrow there's a hearing on to see whether Mr. Weinstein is ordered to stay at Bellevue, which obviously we hope we do, because by your own observation, he's looking better. There is a certain amount of adrenaline that takes place when he's there. He's surrounded by people who he knows well, and he knows is fighting for him very, very hard. But he's also getting the medicine that he needs and the care that he needs to at least put him in a position to aid in his defense, which is his constitutional right.
Arthur, you said the casting couch is not a crime scene. Can you expand on that?
The casting couch can be a crime scene. I said in this case, the casting couch is not a crime scene.
That is what he said.
These three women, there was nothing that took place that was by force or that was non-consensual. Everybody knew what was going on. Everybody signed up for the plan. And, this is not a case about morality. This is not a case about cheating on your wife. There's a lot of real estate between someone being immoral and doing something illegal. And Mr. Weinstein is nowhere close to the illegality. We admitted in open court today, he's not someone who we would want your sister to marry. But that's not for us to judge. It's not for the 12 jurors in this case to judge. And we stand by the fact that everyone, all the complaining witnesses, now that they're complaining now, some 20 years later, after they found out, oh, I can sign a couple of forms and get millions of dollars. There are 4 million reasons why you can hear lies from that witness stand. Because that's at least as far as we know, it may actually be more. It may be closer to 5 million between the three women, all the money that they have collected. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you,
Arthur. Okay, so I'll leave that up in case, like, Gloria Allred, like, pops out of the bush or something. But anyway, I'm going to go back to what I was reading my notes from earlier. Okay, so where was I here? Looks like they're going to take their mics down, so I don't think they're expecting anybody else to speak. Okay, so let me see. Where are we going here? Sorry, I'm like wiped. I've been up since 4:30 a.m. All right. So one juror was late. Where were we? Okay, yeah. Okay, so the first statement, can't take no for an answer. The accusers are named. They name the accusers. We don't need any Gloria jump scares. The accusers are Mimi Haley and Jessica Mann. They were also accusers in the last trial, the first trial. And then there's another accuser. She is new. This one's name is, I think it's Kaja, Kaja, or maybe it's Kaya. Maybe it's Kaya. Sokola. I'm going to say Kaya. I think it's Kaja. Okay, anyway, so then the assistant U.S. attorney then goes into graphic detail about these alleged assaults. There's 3 complaining witnesses, and then the not the assistant U.S. attorney. This is not a federal case. If I say assistant U.S. attorney, it's just a matter of habit. This is a state assistant district attorney. So just, this is a live stream. I'm talking fast. We got 45 more minutes for a whole day of court to go. So let's see if I can do it. So then the assistant district attorney goes into some background on the witnesses and what actually happened with the complainants. Somebody said, why couldn't you be around years ago so Nancy Grace could never have a career? I really appreciate the compliment. I really do, Steve. But the issue is me and Nancy Grace are not substitutes for one another, even if I was around earlier, because I tell the truth and I give opinions, and she is a liar who likes to lie. So that's, unfortunately, we're not substitutable for each other. She's a propagandist, in my opinion. She's been sued for, lying about people. And, I don't know. I don't like her at all because I have personal beef with her, but that's bias. But thank you for, I know you're trying to say, like, a compliment. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I am a much better substitute. I mean, I'm not really a substitute, but you know what I mean? Like, I would be a good replacement. Anyway, so the first witness they get into is Mimi Haley. So she had lived in London for a few years and she worked in production. She worked for a man by the name of Michael White, who she alleges, this is during the prosecutor's opening statement. Okay, so this part, put the section right here. This is the part where we're talking about the what was said according to reports that I read online in the court. And this is about Mimi Haley. Okay, so she's one of the complaining witnesses. The first one she's talking about the likable version. Yeah, I mean, okay, so this prosecutor, she says that Harvey had a, quote, psychological hold on these complainants. And eventually Mimi, who's working for this guy, Michael White, who introduced Harvey and Mimi, eventually Mimi asked Harvey for work. She went to a hotel, apparently, which is where he claims that that's where he would conduct his business. So I just need to minimize this. She thought, she was just going to a regular business meeting. When she gets there, he asked for a massage and she was, quote, upset and uncomfortable, but she didn't want to, make him mad or ruin her chances to get a job. She thought it meant that he didn't take her seriously as a production assistant. But nevertheless, despite her thinking that he was not taking her seriously, she did eventually get hired for a job on Project Runway. Once Project Runway wrapped, then Harvey invited Mimi to a hotel. She, quote, let her guard down, but she did know and was aware of his reputation nevertheless. She rejected his she rejected his advances at first. Like, he would be asking her to go to premieres, go to parties, go to Paris, go places or whatever. She rejected these at first, but then eventually she does accept going on a date with him to a movie premiere. So she travels to New York City. She gets there, and she says when she is dropped off in the room with him, his quote demeanor changed and he began to kiss her. She pushed him and pushed him off. It didn't work. But then at that point, the defense objected. Now, I've never like actually argued in a trial, but I did go to law school and I did pass, and it was, the number like 5 law school in the country. So there, for whatever that's worth. Okay. I'm not like, I don't practice in the courtroom or anything like that. But from what I remember, you do not interrupt the opening or the closing. You don't interrupt the opening statements. You don't interrupt the closing unless you really, really have to, because it can aggravate the judge. It's just kind of like one of those professional courtesies. Like, you just really don't do it. Maybe that's only in federal court. Maybe if you're practicing lawyer, you can comment in the live chat. You can comment in the comments. So I can pin it if you practice. But like, isn't it true that it's like kind of like sort of big deal to interrupt somebody to object during the opening and closing? Maybe not. Maybe I learned fake news. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think it's a big deal. So the defense objects to the characterization of like, he started to kiss her, she pushed him off, and I object. Okay, so then the government, the ADA, the assistant district attorney, she continues. She goes into more graphic detail of the alleged assaults. And she says that Mimi told her roommate about the assault. And the roommate told Mimi to report it, but she didn't want to. She just wanted to move on. And she was scared of what would happen if she would report it. She still did go to the movie premiere, though. Just, she claims, not with Weinstein, which mean I'm wondering, like, did she get the ticket from him? I'm just wondering. I don't know. So that was like the first and the second incident. The first one, she goes give him a massage or whatever. Then another incident after Project Runway wraps. So now we're going to talk about another third incident with Mimi, Haley, and Harvey that the prosecution alleges. Thank you so much to Christopher for the $2.99 super sticker. Really appreciate that. If you're finding the coverage useful and helpful, I do appreciate any of these super chats. It helps a lot because this is all I did all day. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I was going to do it anyway. So we're talking about the third incident with Mimi Haley. She goes to yet again another hotel to meet Harvey. Now, this time she goes to a hotel which is today known as the Roxy Hotel. She goes with Harvey's assistant. The assistant leaves her. Harvey then, quote, ordered Mimi Haley onto the bed, and she laid there like a, quote, dead fish. And then she alleges R happened while Harvey called her derogatory names. Mimi still did after that incident, according to the prosecutors, reach out to Harvey for work and for referrals, and she did not report this incident. Now, this is all coming from the assistant district attorney, which is kind of like, why is she saying all this stuff? It kind of makes the, in my opinion, it kind of makes this witness look kind of bad, because she's like, oh yeah, and she kept reaching out to him and she kept going to hotels, but I think she just has to. And this is a legal mechanism, legal tool called stealing thunder, where that's a bad fact. I'm not saying bad like, I'm saying it's bad. It's just like a legal term, like a bad fact. Like, it's not helpful for you. It's not great if it's, out there. It's a fact that doesn't help you very much, and it might actually kind of hurt you a little bit in the eyes of the jury. That's a bad fact. So it is a bad fact that like they're alleging that these violent things happen, these horrible things happen, but for years and years and years and years, the witnesses continue to not only continue to maintain contact with Harvey, but they continue to reach out to him and initiate contact. Now, that doesn't mean that it is a deciding factor. A bad fact doesn't mean it's a deciding factor. It just means it's something that they're going to have to explain. And if you can't understand how in the eyes of the jury that is something they would have to explain, then I think you're being disingenuous. And I'm not trying to get into the theoretical wokey arguments with you. Thank you. Okay, so then Mimi said the reason she did this, though, was because she was trying to maintain her career. That's her defense of continuing to reach out to him and Okay, I mean, I guess I could see that, but will the jury? I mean, that's the question. Will the jury? Okay, so she pretended everything was fine. Then Mimi Haley actually in 2020, a good fact, right? This is a good fact for Mimi Haley. She was awarded $475,000 in civil damages from these alleged incidents. So civil and criminal standards of doubt, like reasonable doubt beyond, that type of thing. Like the standard for criminal trials is a lot harder to prove someone committed a crime than a civil a tort. So it will be harder to prove that Harvey committed this as a crime, but it is a bad fact for Harvey Weinstein that this civil judgment has happened. But a civil is not the same as criminal, so that's what he would argue. Now, Mimi, the prosecutor, the assistant district attorney said Mimi does not want to testify. She does not want to testify. She's tired. She is scared. And then again, Harvey's lawyer objects. Again, is this unusual? I think it may be. She's like, she doesn't want to testify, but she will. She will testify. You're going to see evidence. You're going to see journals to the jury. You're going to see emails. You're going to see diagrams of Harvey Weinstein's apartment. You're going to hear testimony from Mimi's friends. And that was pretty much all the opening statements said about Mimi. So then they move on to the next complainant, and that is, I'm going to say Kaya until I know how her name is pronounced. Okay, so wait, people are saying, okay, it is more discouraged in closing arguments. Via live streams, girls' career probably kept collapsing every time to try to cut Harvey off. Ben, I mean, that's something that we would need to see. If that's true, that would be something that's very interesting as evidence for sure. Shout out to Rabbit in the chat. Shout out to Diamond Rainbow holding it down. These mods in here. Who else is in here? Sorry, I am a little rushing, y'all, so I'm not going to be able to do too much chat right now because I got to get out of here for our other premiere that's starting in like 34 minutes. But we moving on to Kaya. I'm going to call her Kaya. It's Kaja. Now, the last person we talked about, Mimi Haley, she was a production assistant. So she was working in the entertainment industry, the TV, the movie, the film industry. She was working specifically Project Runway TV. She had lived in London and she was, hooking up with Harvey one way or another, consensually or not, but she continued to reach out to him. Kaya, she is a Polish model who's now a mother. This has happened a long time ago. This happened in 2002. So this is a criminal allegation reaching back all the way 23 years ago. And at the time, though, y'all, Kaya was 16 years old. She was in a modeling competition and she was alone. She was under massive pressure from her parents and she was working on her portfolio in her modeling portfolio in New York City. Now, this is right around the time of the Project Runways and the, talent competition shows. She's at a modeling competition. She's a 16-year-old model. She's under pressure. She's alone, 16-year-old model alone in New York City modeling competition. And she's under pressure from her parents to, I guess, make it in the modeling world. She's working on her portfolio. She goes to this club. Now, I don't know how she ends up at a club at 16 years old. I do not know how she got in, but she goes to this club and meets Harvey Weinstein. And then he asks her if she's interested in being in movies. She said, yeah. So she agrees to allow Harvey to pick her up and discuss it further. Now, this is where we get to the first incident that is allegedly criminal, according to the ADA. It was their first date. Weinstein stops. He picks her up, and then he stops by somewhere to pick up some papers, to grab some papers or something. And she comes inside with him. It's an apartment, a building, something somewhere. She comes inside with him, and as soon as they're in there, he's like, take off your shirt. I don't know if she did it or did not do it, but then allegedly they go into the bathroom, and that is where he, quote, groped her under her shirt and made her simultaneously also, quote, touch him. He completed the mission, if you know what I mean, but Kaya says she was not aware. So after this alleged assault, Harvey did tell Kaya, I don't know how old she was at this time. I think they are. I mean, the way they're making it seem is that she was underage at this time. I don't know if that's exactly what is even being alleged because I wasn't in the room, but it does appear from like the pieces I was able to piece together. Y'all can fact check that, please, and let me know if that's not accurate. If this was like they met when she was 16 and then it happened later, an incident of assault, alleged assault. I'm not trying to get sued, y'all. Really, truly, I'm not trying to get sued. And if I do get sued, it's never going to make it past the motion to dismiss phase because I got to give these disclaimers. Okay. So he told her, Harvey Weinstein apparently allegedly told Kaya after this alleged assault to not be so, quote, stubborn. Now, Kaya says that she has suffered really enormous harm, including eating disorders, and she is now, quote, very vulnerable. Now, there was another incident that happened 2 years later in 2004. She yet again agreed to be picked up by Harvey Weinstein. And while they're together, he picks up a call. He takes a call. And while he's on the call, I guess he reaches over and grabs Kaya's breast. She is upset and she says she got out of the car. Then there was another third incident. Now, this incident, this is giving us a little bit of a preview as to what I think is going to be the defense's defense on the Kaya girl. Because the third incident, I think they might could have just left out because they already have other incidents and they have another fourth incident. I think they probably could have just left it out. But apparently in 2005, 1 year after the second alleged assault, and 3 years after the first alleged assault, this happens at the Four Seasons Hotel, Four Seasons. And Kaya's like, they're like, Kaya suffers from paranoia. So she thinks that Harvey was trying to break into her hotel room in 2005, but she's not sure that that really happened or not. Why did y'all even include that? There's a first, second, fourth incident. Why'd you even include that? It's like it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's going to come out. Maybe it's because it's going to be like, well, she also falsely accused him one time. Maybe that's the stealing the thunder. I mean, I really don't know. I didn't follow this trial that closely. I didn't follow this trial at all at first. I mean, I've gone back and tried to read it, but I'm not that familiar. So anyway, even after that alleged third incident where even the ADA admits that Kaya is not sure if this actually happened or not, Kaya continues to reach yet again. She also continues to reach out to Harvey for career opportunities. And in fact, and indeed, he did hire her for a job later on for the Nanny Diaries. He claimed that someone claimed she got special treatment. There was a fourth incident. Now, this is also, I mean, it's not a great fact for her. There's a fourth incident where Kaya wanted to, quote, show off to her sister that she knew Harvey Weinstein, her sister was in town. So she invites Harvey to lunch and they all meet up. And Harvey then invites her, Kaya, up to his room to, quote, review scripts. And they go upstairs. Kaya is nervous. And she realizes that she is in a quote, another precarious situation and she feels shame. She said she felt under pressure from her parents, but as he started to move forward, she allegedly screamed and cried, "Don't do this." There's more graphic detail. He performs a certain act upon her while touching himself. And after it was over, she got dressed and goes back down to meet her sister. Afterward, Harvey sent a note to her saying it was nice to see her. They met at an event later on. They were photographed together. She later returned to Poland and she struggles daily or has struggled daily with alcohol use, eating disorders, and she was awarded like $3 or $4 million for the 2002 incident, like $3 million for the 2002 incident and maybe like $1 million or so on the other one. Millions and millions of dollars. So that's a bad fact for Harvey, a good fact for her. I mean, not good, but you know what I mean? These are terms of like legal terms of art. Then they get to the third alleged victim. This is a Jessica Mann. She had a tough childhood, and right out the gate, Harvey's lawyers are objecting. They're like, no, we're not talking about tough childhoods. But then they describe Jessica Mann as a struggling actor who met Weinstein at a party. Okay, so we have a model, an actor, and a production assistant. So one day, Jessica Mann meets Harvey at the hotel. He asks for a massage. She didn't want to offend him, so she agreed. She left the hotel room untouched. So she just gave him a massage only. She really didn't want to, but she did. So then Harvey starts to invite her places, to parties, to quote, network, and she agrees. Then that brings us to the second incident where Harvey invited Jessica Mann and a friend to his hotel for drinks. He wanted to read a script for the lead role for Jessica Mann, but the casting director will testify that actually she was never being considered to be the lead role in this. It was just a ruse. That's what the assistant district attorney is alleging. So at this second incident with Jessica Mann, they go up to the hotel room. Harvey starts kissing her, and then she fakes completion to kind of like get it over with. And she goes back down, gets her friend. She gets her friend. She leaves the hotel. The friend encouraged Jessica, though. The friend encouraged her to keep in contact, to keep the Harvey connection, to keep in touch with him for, quote, for his connections. So she did stay in contact with him. And that leads us to the third incident. 2013, there's a trip to New York City where Jessica Mann wants to introduce her friends to Harvey to show off. So another person now trying to introduce their friend or someone they know to Harvey to show off. And this is, again, all according to the prosecution. This is not like the defense is saying she was trying to show off. No, this is the government. This is the state saying this stuff about their own witnesses. So we're now all the way up to 2013. So the first Jessica Mann incident, I don't know if we have a year, but the second one right here, the third one is the 2013 New York City trip. They arrange a breakfast meeting, but before the meeting, Jessica Mann claims that Harvey assaulted her in his hotel room. She later found a needle in the bathroom in the trash can, and she later discovered that it was for dysfunction. It was like dysfunction medication. But even still, she stayed friends. Even still, she stayed in contact with Weinstein. He would, quote, sign off on emails like an abusive father. Later, years later, they met up again when she was a hairstylist and she cut Harvey's hair. But she had a boyfriend at this time. Now, this is the one where Harvey allegedly said, quote, "You owe me one more time." Grabbed her by the ankles, other things ensued, put his mouth somewhere. And then Jessica Mann is like, something very distinct came out of his, and she's like, she's going to testify about it. Weinstein even apologized after the incident. She says that she was just laying there blankly at the TV, staring blankly at the TV. Weinstein apologized, talking about, "I couldn't help it. You're just so attractive. I couldn't help myself." But even after this third incident, they remained in contact, and Jessica Mann did remain in contact with him. So this is like years and years they were in contact. So then we are introduced to who's going to be another witness, who's going to end up being like the first witness to actually testify. A former assistant. He will testify that he was required to keep ED medications in his briefcase. This is sounding a little bit like the allegations made about Christina Karam and Diddy with the Prada bags. Now, the prosecution says that we will see medical records that prove that Jessica Mann suffered from anxiety as a result of this stuff. The statements continue. You're going to hear, this is not your typical R case, the prosecutor says. You're going to hear expert testimony. And I'm like, from who? Dr. Dawn Hughes? Is it going to be Dawn Hughes? She was in the first one, I think. You're going to hear expert testimony. You're going to explain why certain behavior occurs. This case is about one of the most powerful men in show business. And the opening statements concluded from the prosecution. They took a 10-minute break around 12:30 and they came back for Harvey's opening statements. So his lawyer stood up, and it was attorney Arthur Idala. First words were something along the line of, there's common sense and there's just, using your brain. Then there's just, it doesn't seem right. That's reasonable doubt. Something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like piecing together across these sources I showed y'all. But the attorney was like basically what he just said at the trial, at the press conference. He's like, after you hear all the evidence, this case is going to fall flat on its face. The defense attorney praises Harvey Weinstein and all his accomplishments. He name drops Gwyneth Paltrow, Meryl Streep as people that he's worked with. He says, well, he might not be a beauty pageant queen or king. He might not look like George Clooney or Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt, but you will hear evidence that he is charismatic and he is generous. And a real argument can be made that he's one of the greatest movie executives of his generation, and these women needed him. He has been thanked at the Academy Awards as many times as God and Steven Spielberg. For context, you must read a whole book, Harvey's lawyer said. You can't read one page. You must watch a whole movie. You can't watch one scene. All these accusers realized that Harvey had the key to get them into the room. They were flirtatious. They wanted him. He could change the trajectory of their lives. They wanted to cut the line. They wanted a shortcut. They consensually fooled around with Harvey Weinstein and Jessica Mann probably more times than she can count. In Hollywood, there's the casting couch. And in this case, for these three witnesses, the casting couch was not a crime scene, Arthur Aidala had said. Was it immoral? 100%. But there's a lot of real estate between immoral and criminality. Same thing he said just now at the press conference. Kaya Sokola's story is based on a lie, he said. She has a lot of problems, he said. She never complained about this in her teens all the way through her 30s. All three of these women maintained long-term relationships with Harvey Weinstein. Harvey's attorney points to texts and emails wherein they tell each other they miss each other and love each other. All three women pursued Harvey after these alleged incidents, and all three women are smart, sophisticated, quote, conniving, and manipulating. At this point, one of the male jurors seemed to be smiling. So the lawyer gives an alternative theory of the case. So the prosecution got up, gave their theory of the case that Harvey Weinstein used his power and his influence to control these women to get what he wanted and to assault them. Harvey's alternative theory of being offered up is that maybe he broke promises to these witnesses. Maybe they were upset. You're not going to hear any testimony from law enforcement, detectives, sex crimes, investigators. Mimi, she didn't call the police after her R. She called that lady in the back of the room, Gloria Allred. And Gloria smiles and waves. Also, importantly, interestingly, another web crossover with the Diddy case is not only just that Gloria Allred is one of the attorneys on the other side, but also Douglas Wigdor, who is Cassie's attorney. Okay, so Douglas Wigdor gets called out in the opening statements by Harvey Weinstein's lawyer. Douglas Wigdor, apparently, according to Weinstein's lawyer, all you got to do is fill out a form to become his client and make an allegation against these men. Okay, so then Harvey's lawyer goes on. He says Mimi Haley lied under oath in the first trial. When somebody asked her if she planned on suing Harvey Weinstein, she said she did not plan to, but she did it anyway, and she knew she was going to. Mimi Haley has a history of lying. Gloria Allred is known for suing men. That's why Mimi picked her. Then he starts introducing his team. He calls out Gloria Allred, points to her at the back of the thing. And then he gets into a crazy long metaphor about the circus and how this trial is actually a circus. And the government wants you to look at them being acrobats and trapeze artists on the trapeze. And they want you to look over there. And he was saying, I brought my son to the circus recently. Why is all roads leads to clowns? We got clowns, we got circuses. And just wait, we're going to have another one. We're going to get your bingo card, okay? So he's like, I brought my son to the circus. This is what he's saying in his opening statement. He brought his son to the circus, and this trial is just like the circus because guess why? When he brought his son to the circus, he was like, oh yeah, they wanted you to look at the ring, the 3 ring in the middle. They wanted you to look at all the lights and the, the flashing lights and the spire in the show. But when you're walking on your way out, you smell the smell, the poo poo pee pee smell. That is the overwhelming smell, overwhelming the circus. You see the clowns in the back smoking. Yes, clowns have entered the chat. These accusers want to be heroes. The government wants you to think this is just, look over here. But really, whenever we get done with our cross-examination, you gonna smell the stink, the pee-pee, the poo-poo. And then the judge was kind of like, what are you doing? What do you say? I don't know where you're going with this. And then the whole courtroom erupts with laughter. It really is a circus. Talking about distracting the people with the popcorn. So this is the analogy, the metaphor. This is like one of the rhetorical devices. If you're in rhetoric, a rhetorical device is called a like allegory or a metaphor or parable. So he goes on. Harvey's lawyer goes on. Jessica Mann wanted to cut the line. She manipulated Harvey Weinstein. She was faking what's, but still met Harvey with her friends and invited him to that breakfast. And, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'll let you know Jessica Mann and Harvey Weinstein had actual chemistry. That's what they said. That's what his lawyer said. Then you have Mimi Haley. She pursued Harvey Weinstein. She asked him to get her into parties and to get her jobs. And after this alleged assault, she texted him to get cat food. Then you have Kaya. I'm not here to pick on her. She does have problems, but her problems are not Harvey's fault. The relationship she had with him was consensual. She also didn't pick up the phone and call the cops for 30 years after the alleged assaults. You know who she picked the phone up and called? Gloria Allred. Kaya called Doug Wigdor. 4 million. She has 4 million reasons, Harvey's lawyer said, to question. The jury has 4 million reasons to question Kaya's motivations because she's got to keep her jury award of the civil case, That's the argument. I don't listen. I think it's a bad fact for Harvey that this was decided this way. So then they go on lunch break about 1:40 p.m. Then Gloria Allred has a press conference outside with some supposed victims. I don't know who they were yet. The prosecution was trying to get ahead of some of the oddities. Male juror was laughing. Arthur, the lawyer, spoke after court briefly to somebody and said he felt good about it. And it seems like Harvey may be going to testify. Okay, so then we're going to call the first witness of the day. This is going to be post-lunch break. Inner City Press starts tweeting now. 3 p.m., Harvey is wheeled in. He's unhandcuffed. The jurors come back in, and then they bring in the first witness. The first witness is a man by the name of Stephen Stearns, Stearns. He's 43 years old today, but remember, a lot of this stuff happened a long time ago. This is like from 2002 to 2018 or so. He's married with 2 kids now. He used to work for MTV as an associate producer. He would take notes during filming, and then he went to work for Miramax under the Weinstein Company. Miramax was founded by Harvey Weinstein and his brother Bob. Right around this time, some updates start emerging from Gloria Allred's press conference, and she's like double dog daring the lawyer to put her on the stand. I don't know why she would be on the stand, Gloria Allred. Like, not everything is about you, Gloria. It's not everything's about you, girl. Sit down. She talking about bring it on, Me Too herstory. That's what got me aggravated at her. If you're wondering why the animosity to Gloria Allred, I'm aggravated with the herstory thing. I'm so sick of this like Hillary Clinton brand of femininity. What about the female clowns? Anyway, so back to Stearns, Stephen Stearns, the first witness. He used to be an assistant. He was on the stand. The assistant district attorney is questioning him on a first round examination. He worked for a man by the name of Charles Layton. He was his assistant. He would schedule calls, get coffee, just regular assistant stuff. In 2005, Miramax broke away from Disney and it became the Weinstein Company. And his role was Project Greenlight and Project Runway. The ADA questions this witness who's now being described as a, quote, foundational witness. Question: what did the Weinstein Company buy? Answer: part of a social media company, something in Latin America. Question: how was the money raised? Objection. Judge, get to the point. Okay, next question. What was Harvey's role? Answer: the boss. I worked directly for Harvey. And I became an assistant when the spot opened up, but I really wanted to be a junior creative. So I was trying to get into this junior creative role, but a spot opened up for assistant and I went right working under him. He talks about his job and employment. He says that he worked from 8:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. He carried 3 cell phones and 2 Blackberries. I got a question. Is a cell phone different than a Blackberry? Why are they calling it 3 cell phones and 2 Blackberries? Is that 5 total? Or is it like 3 cell phones, 2 of them are I don't know. He said, I would pass him, meaning Harvey, this assistant would pass Harvey one phone after the other. Did all of Harvey's emails. He did not do his own emails. The jurors, some are looking at Stearns, some are looking at Harvey. The ADA asks, who was the lead assistant? Answer: that was a man by the name of Lucas Carver. Then after him, you had Dan Guando, who would travel, and Charles Meach. Next question: how did the email work? Answer: we would print it out for Harvey. He would write notes or dictate to us what to write back, and I would type up the reply and send it. So this is the one that was sending the email, Stefan Stearns. He said we would go to the Toronto Film Festival, BAFTA, to acquire films. Harvey had a reputation for making careers from discovering movies or people or whatever at the film festivals. How was Harvey interacting at these film festivals? Stephen said he was Harvey. He's the big man on campus. How would you travel from New York to, say, Westport, Connecticut? The assistant said, well, on Fridays, we would drive to Westport and work in the car. And then the ADA asks, where did Harvey stay when he was in LA? The Peninsula. How did Harvey conduct business in hotel rooms? No, we would get a suite for that. So yes, they kind of, but it would be a suite at the hotel. I would bring actresses up from the lobby. Sometimes I would be asked to leave the room. I thought it was concerning regular business. Did you use the corporate cards? The ADA asked. Yes, and cash sometimes to, quote, grease the wheel. So what did you do next? I got the new role. The guy says he got that junior creative role that he wanted. Then the ADA asks something about 76 Crosby Street. That maybe was where Harvey used to live. And then the ADA says, did you see a briefcase? And Harvey's lawyers, objection, no foundation. The ADA says, Judge, I'm happy to approach the bench. The judge says, no. So she rephrases the question, looks over to Stephen Stearns and says, a silver briefcase? Objects again. Then they go sidebar and they're arguing for 5 minutes. Then they come back. New question to Stephen. Were you aware of Mimi Haley? He said, yes, she was on the call sheet. I saw her at the Mercer Hotel. I lived 100 feet from there. Something about a childhood friend did not want to speak to me. I don't know what that's about. Did you know Jessica Mann or Kaya? He says, no. The ADA says, no further questions. So now it's Harvey's turn, his lawyer's turn, to ask this same witness some questions. He comes up. This is Jennifer Bonjean. She hands a copy of a picture to the witness and says, in 2006, did Harvey Weinstein look like this? Then they have technical difficulties. They can't get it up on the screen. They can't get it up on the projector. They can't get it up. So they're having to hand this one piece of paper to the jury. So they do. And then Inner City Press goes, they do not look impressed. The jurors do not look impressed with whatever the picture. I don't know what the picture is because it wasn't described because they were having technical difficulties. Then the ADA says, did you know Georgina Chapman? The answer, they were dating. Then the exhibits B and C are offered up from Harvey Weinstein's lawyers and handed to the jury to see. Exhibit B is a photograph apparently of Harvey and Georgina and 2 other people. Harvey's attorney moved to admit the evidence, but the ADA objected. The judge sustained this objection and did not allow this photo to be admitted into evidence. The next question is about Exhibit C, which apparently is a picture of, quote, just the 2 of them. 2 of who? I don't know. The question is, did they get married? This is Harvey Weinstein's lawyer. Did they get married? And the answer by Stephan is, that's my understanding. The jurors passed it around, and there was some, quote, eye rolling in the courtroom, according to Inner City Press. Next question. So you, Stefan, you would connect Mimi Haley on the phone with Harvey? He said, yes. And then they said, like on this call sheet? Yes. And you told the district attorney in 2018 you also went to the Soho Grand Hotel? No, Stephan says. They got it wrong in the notes. The lawyer, what else did they change? The judge interrupts. Now you're twisting things, girl. Let's not get carried away. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I wasn't in there. I don't know. Lawyer says, all right, no further questions. They go back to sidebar. They're arguing some more. It's like the afternoon at this point. The judge goes to the jury. Sorry, please bear with us. We are told that the next witness may have travel plans. A couple more moments go by, and then the ADA says she can come back in 2 weeks. This trial is only supposed to last 6 weeks. So the next witness that's supposed to go next, the first witness is done. It's time for next witness. Next witness can't go for 2 weeks. So about 4:40 p.m., it's adjourned. Then there's the press conference. And the press conference is what I already have just read to y'all. So that is pretty much it. Let me see if, I'm cutting it close. Let me see what y'all said. Remember, there is another brand new investigation on BJ Investigates coming immediately after this. You should be redirected, but I also linked it here. Okay, no starred chats. Matt McAfee, remember Blackberries had capabilities for business types. Proper judge is always impartial. Make sure y'all follow Inner City Press. Click the like. Blackberry was brilliant. I had a red one. Remember those red ones? And they had a little ball and you could remember those? Let's see. Oh my God, you're funny. Guilty. He knew he was in a position of power over these females. Sicko. That's what Starlight said. Starlight. There really is not enough laughter in the world. It's true. Ben said Diddy, this would be ironic, may end up exposing might just end up exposing the machine that created these monsters. Maybe. ENT Lover. Yes, love BJ too. Love you, mean it. I had same. Yeah, y'all had, Blackberry Pearl. Oh my God. That was a little pearl. Y'all had the red one? I only had the red one because I didn't have a pink one. I also had the pink razor. Yes, I did have that pink razor. Yes, I did. I mean, I didn't get it I didn't have it the first year it came out or nothing, but I did have one. Unless did it come out? No, it didn't come out in 2000. Did it come out in 2006? I think I did have a pink razor in 2006, actually. I thought they came out in 2004. Red burgundy. I still got that Blackberry somewhere if you plugged it in. I don't think you even had to have a password then either. Let's see. I had the LG ENV. Wasn't that a cool time in history where we all had different cell phones? Like people would come to school with a new phone. You're like, oh my God, you remember that little teeny tiny flip phone? That was fun. You're welcome, Janine. So if y'all enjoyed this, if y'all want to see more of this type of video where I just do kind of like an hour-long recap at the end of the day, or if y'all would rather kind of like follow along the whole day, let me know, with the caveat that once Diddy trial starts, I will have to switch over to it, which is going to be, I guess we do have like another 3, almost 4 weeks till then. But like, I don't know. I just feel like the Kanye stuff and the Diddy stuff are really what y'all are more wanting to see. And like, even though I don't work for y'all, I don't like want to be making videos like just for my own health. I could be following this on my own without making a video. Thank you, Dee Dee. Just a random fact that Chocolate Rain turned 18 today. Did it? Oh yeah, I remember that. I had the pink razors, still have it. Yeah, I mean, I do have those like sitting around somewhere. Okay, y'all. So it is linked in the live chat if you're here right now. Click the link or just stay where you are. The redirect doesn't always work. AKA, it's never worked from a live stream, but I did try it. So I don't know if you don't get redirected, the link is right there. All new investigation on Kanye West and Dr. Phil's 10-year obsession with him and how he has changed his tune in the media and my theories about why that might be. That's all I really had for today. In the meantime, thank you so much to Paris for the $2.99 super sticker right at the last moment. That's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.